Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Demon's Spear, the longest weapon in the game. And, you know, this weapon I kind of felt bad for using, just because its reach is so stupidly long. It's so stupidly long, and you'll see what I mean throughout this video. Now, this weapon, I like that right there. That was the very first time I ever attempted that attack, and I landed it. And I spun in a little circle because it made me happy. So, yeah. Anyway, this weapon is one that you get from the Batwing demon things in Anor Londo. And, as I said before, it has the longest reach in the game. Specifically, that R2 attack, that two-handed R2, you will go flying across the area to hit someone with that, and you'll see that in a few fights. It has a knockdown effect to it, which is pretty cool, and it's really fun to try and attempt to use that attack and actually land it. It's harder to land than you would be led on to believe by this video, though. I had some amazing luck with landing that attack. Why? I don't know, but look at that range! Oh my god! It's huge! It's massive range. So, longest reach in the game, right there. Anyway, the Demon's Spear, of course, it is a spear class weapon. Who would have guessed? It has a C scaling in strength and dexterity, which is a little strange considering it does elemental damage as well. At +5, this weapon does 180 lightning damage. And for me, with my stats, I have an AR of, I think it was right around 470. So that's doing a fair bit of physical damage as well. Just under 300, 390-ish, you know, physical damage. Or not 390, 290 rather. I know how to do math. I know how to do math. I know how to do math. So, 290 physical damage plus 180 lightning, that's not too bad. It's nice for the fact that you can just sort of poke at someone's shield when they're turtling and still do a little bit of damage to them, because there's not a single shield in the game that blocks 100% of lightning damage and 100% of physical, so that's always a nice thing. Now, the biggest pro of this weapon, actually I forgot to go over a little bit more about it. I went over the C and D scaling. It has a weight of 4 units. And that's it. That's that. So, biggest pro of the weapon. That stupidly long reach is without a doubt the biggest pro of this weapon. It's so ridiculously long that you kind of want to just stay at range and R1 someone with it. Just R1 spam them with it, and that's what most people do. This weapon will be very commonly seen on, right there, that range, I love it. This weapon will be very commonly seen on Vitality Gouge builds, and they don't really put much into their strength and dexterity, so they're not getting the full effect of the weapon, but it's got the long reach, and that's really all they care for. Now, because it's got such long reach and it's very difficult to fight against, people will poise stab you, people will be very, very cheap-ish against you. But what do you expect? You're using a weapon with the longest reach in the game. How can you expect them not to be cheap? It's just one thing you should know going in before you start using this thing, and I knew that. And honestly, I had some really fun fights with this thing. Sure, I got poise stabbed. Sure, people were going for wake-up hits. Sure, I fought a guy who started to lag switch against me just because I was using this weapon. But I had fun with it. So, just throwing that out there. Now, the biggest con of the weapon, I would have to say, is the fact that, of course, you're going to have people being extra super cheap against you. Oh well, I still had fun with it. So really, if that's the biggest con, sign me up. I'll use this thing a little bit more often, but I honestly do feel kind of bad because I kept fighting people who were having very low poise. And because it's a spear that's the longest in the game and can poke really fast and you can turtle poke with it, it felt kind of mean to just keep R1 spamming them when they have 0 poise as it is, or very low poise, and I was stunning them with one hit. It was kind of mean. Right there, I was so sure I was going to get him with that R2, but it didn't end up working out. He got a nice roll backstab on me, so that was pretty cool. And right there, I knew he was going to do that backstep run attack. I knew it was going to happen. Just one of those feelings. But anyway, Other cons of the weapon, you will R1 spam yourself out of stamina with this thing. You will do it, just because it's so easy to do. Now, I try to mix it up, I try to use the R2s, but I caught myself R1 spamming with this weapon a lot. And then I tried to R2 with it, just to balance things out, and I kept getting punished for it. But I actually do end up getting one against this guy right here, so it made me feel a little bit better. Anyway, so I went over the pros and the cons of the weapon. You got the stupidly long reach, and people are going to be extra cheap against you. That really sums it up. Other than that, typical spear pros and cons, you can turtle poke and all that. It's a good weapon. So anyway, this is the last fight. That's the end of the last fight. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.